So, with all of the talk about Bobrovsky today, I thought now might be a good time to take a look. No, not at the Ducks. We'll take a look at the Ducks tomorrow. We got some time tomorrow. We can take a look at the Ducks and how their destruction occurred. You're welcome, Anaheim. I wanted to look at goaltending situations, and this is just off the top of my head, where we may see some movement between now and the deadline. I'm going to explain why. Chad Johnson in Anaheim. He's there because Ryan Miller got hurt. So if Miller comes back, Johnson will be back on the waiver wire. Could one of the teams that I have listed with a goaltender end up taking a shot at him? Who knows? Um, he's not putting up great stats, but it doesn't seem to matter right now when it comes to goaltenders. Arizona, they seem solid with Kemper and Hill, and of course Ronta's on the injured list for the rest of the year. I could see them maybe offering up Kemper, but I doubt it. Boston, solid. Halak, Rask, you're good. Buffalo, solid. Hutton and Olmark have done very well. Hey, I don't mind admitting I ate crow on those guys. Calgary, Mike Smith. That's the question mark. What are they going to do with Smith? Does Smith spend the rest of the year there? Does he end up getting moved? Is there somebody somewhere that might think they can get something out of Mike Smith? Smith may end up just spending the rest of the season in Calgary if they can't get anything for him, but I do think he'll be on the market. Carolina, Scott Darling. I know he cleared waivers, but you know what? Come trade deadline, you never know. Somebody somewhere could say, you know what? Scott Darling could help us, and it could be Chicago. Now, I have Crawford on the board, not because I think he's moving, but because he's a major unknown at this stage of the game. If Crawford comes back with the way Delia has been playing, do you think about trading Cam Ward? Does somebody take a shot at Cam Ward, and do you consider trading him and going with Crawford and Delia? I wonder with Delia, does he have anything further to learn in the American League, or is he ready to be an NHLer now? Sort of like what Vancouver did in getting rid of Nilsson so that they could bring up Demko. Same idea, just different reasoning and rationale, right? Uh, Colorado is now I would think, in play. I would think Varlamov, based on his play recently, he is now got to be one of those guys we're watching. And do you do a Russian for Russian swap with Columbus there and Bobrovsky? And does Bobrovsky waive his no trade? Or if Bobrovsky has this major rift with Tortorella that has caused this public suspension from the team and all of this drama, does he tell Columbus, you know what? I'm not waiving my no trade and I'm not signing here either. You guys are getting nothing for me. Does he do that? Or does he say, for my stats, like the idea being that, if Bobrovsky thinks that his stats are being hurt with Colorado or with Columbus, I don't know that a move to Colorado would necessarily help him. But, that kind of a swap could work. They'd both be rentals. But again, with Tortorella, you got to watch. Tortorella, and I've said this, the whole time I've had this channel, he can be a great coach for you, but man, once he gets into a personal feud with one of your players, it gets bad. And apparently with Bobrovsky, it's been bad. So whether that is the reasoning behind why he wasn't with the team today for tonight's game or not, that'll probably come out in the next few days. Dallas, they're fine in net. No problems till the end of the year. Jimmy Howard in Detroit could be a major factor. Now, Detroit about a month ago was looking at extending his contract. I do wonder if the swan song that they've had out of the playoff race will change their opinion on that. If it's maybe, you know what, Jimmy, we'll try to bring you back in July, but we're going to try to get something for you at the deadline, if that's the kind of thing that's going to happen. Cam Talbot with the Oilers is interesting in that I don't know that the Oilers have anybody in the American League that comes up to take over for Talbot, but maybe you can move Talbot in a one-for-one for, I don't know, James Reimer in Florida. Reimer, underwhelming stats in Florida, but somebody somewhere may say, you know what, we can change things up, and a Reimer for Talbot deal might work for somebody or both teams. I think it's going to be tricky. Edmonton's goaltending from here. Florida's goaltending has just been a mess. Campbell. Campbell's an interesting one for me with LA. Now, I was talking about a month ago about trading out Jonathan Quick. But clearly, from the moves that have been made by LA, I don't think they feel they're that far off. I don't think they're in rebuild mode. So maybe you trade Campbell and you bring up Peterson. And maybe you trade Campbell for a decent draft pick and or a prospect. And you move from there. Minnesota, their goaltending is relatively okay. I know Stalock's not putting up great numbers as a backup, but he hasn't played that many games. Montreal, yeah, right, like they're going to trade a goalie. Nashville, same thing. Jersey, Corey Schneider. I know Schneider's value is low. The interest in him is going to be low as well. But again, don't rule out the idea that at the trade deadline, somebody might come in and say, you know what, give him a shot. The Islanders, they're fine at goal. I know Grice's numbers have fallen a bit lately, but they're fine. The Rangers, I think if they could have traded Lundqvist last year, I think they probably would have, but he has made it clear he wants to stay with the Rangers through this rebuild for as long as he goes. And Georgiev is their backup. Ottawa, it's kind of funny. They trade out McKenna, they bring in Nilsson. I could have put up somebody there, but I thought, no, once Anderson's healthy, it'll be Anderson and Nilsson for the rest of the season. So that should be just fine. Philadelphia, pick them, because I have no idea who they're going to trade. I have no idea what they're going to get back. They're up to 7 goaltenders. McKenna with a new mask and Carter Hart playing some games. And I have no idea where Philly's going to end up on this. No clue. Pittsburgh, Tristan Jarry is an interesting one for me because Matt Murray has again showed himself to be one of the better young goaltenders in the league. Casey DeSmith, also a young goaltender, putting up some pretty solid numbers. Jarry means they've got 3 good young goaltenders. They may want to move out Jarry in order to help solidify another one of their spots, whether it's depth up front or on the blue line, remains to be seen. San Jose, I know I talk a lot about Jones and Dell and their stats. I can't see San Jose getting rid of either of them. Jake Allen in St. Louis. There will be rumors about Jake Allen for the rest of the year. I don't know that he moves, but I know that his name is going to be mentioned a lot by fans and probably media as well. Tampa, no problems there. Toronto, once their goaltending gets healthy, Hutchinson will probably be on the move. Now, whether it's a waiver wire move and he goes to the Marlies, or maybe they find somebody to take him. Maybe Philadelphia says, we want 8 goalies to set a new record. Whatever it is, Hutchinson could find himself on the move. Vancouver, they're solid in goal. Markstrom's not going anywhere. Demko's good. This is a weird place I'm in, looking at Vancouver's goaltending and going, yep, they're good. Vegas, I still wonder with Subban if he's going to last the full season there. Again, because they may want somebody who's more reliable in the backup role. So you look at the other names on the board, they may end up being stuck with what they have. Unless somebody somewhere says, well, we'll give you, I don't even know where you go if you're Subban. Maybe Philly would want him. Would Vegas want Elliott? If Elliott comes back and he's healthy, puts in a few decent starts before the trade deadline, do they say, yeah, we can bring him in as the backup? And then does Vegas look at that and say, okay, either Legace or Dansk are good enough to be the backup the following season? That's where it gets tricky. So even though they haven't had the faith in Subban, and even though we've talked about their goaltending, I don't know that there's a better option out there for them either. And for Washington and Winnipeg, I think their goaltending's solid. I get nervous with Hellebuck, but I think they're okay. And Holtby's playing the Bruins tonight, so that'll help him. It always seems to help him. I hate that it helps him. I don't mind Holtby, but I really wish it wasn't the Bruins that made him feel better about himself. All right, let me know how crazy you think the goaltending thing's going to get at the deadline, and anybody that you think might be on the move, because this is kind of that fun time of year where we can just kind of throw names out there and say, all right, who might go? And to me, goaltenders have been moving a lot this year. So the idea of a ton of goalies getting moved, especially with all this stuff about Bobrovsky, Colorado falling out, and of course McKinnon telling the coach to do his job last night. We're not supposed to see that. I'm sure that happens a lot with teams that are struggling. But I have some opinions on Colorado as well. I may throw that in a video tomorrow as well. Because there's some stuff I was reading up on Colorado today that I went, about Bednar. Just the way Bednar has been coaching the team. And I went, okay, maybe that might be part of the problem. Anyways, that's completely unrelated to goaltenders. Let me know how you guys feel about the goalies and who may or may not be on the market. And again, like I know Boston, people may look and go, well, you've got Halak, you've got Rask. May have 2 starters there, maybe trade one out. I can't see Boston doing that because, yeah, as soon as for a team that has 2 solid goalies, like another example would be the Islanders, you might be able to get something for Grice right now and pick up like some kid, or maybe they bring up a kid from the minors. But within a week, Leonard would probably get hurt. And next thing you know, the Islanders are like, and we need a goaltender. I look at what happened with Toronto at the start of the year. If they still had McElhinney, I don't know that the Leafs would be in this predicament with goaltenders. But let me know your thoughts as always. Greatly appreciated. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Oh, and I want to do a bit of a follow up just to let you guys know. I talked about the whole Vegas ticket situation yesterday. I want to actually look into how other NHL teams deal with similar issues, this kind of thing, and I want to come up with some kind of a look at it. I want this to be something that's not just off the cuff, me with a whiteboard just going, whatever. I want this to be something that there's some actual comprehensive looks at things that go on in the NHL when it comes to season ticket holders. So don't be surprised when it may take months, but at some point I want to do a report where I say, here's what I've learned. Here's what I've learned about team terms of service and how they deal with the season ticket thing. So I just want to throw that in at the end of this one for sort of a reward for people who got through this whole video. There you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's going to be a fun trade deadline. I'm really excited about it. And also, yes, there will be a live stream on the trade deadline this year because I do that every year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.